Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Dele Uzubaku. Today on the program, PDP presidential aspirant Dele Momodu speaks with Journalist Hangout on 2023 elections and other burning national issues. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. He's a Nigerian journalist, publisher, businessman, and motivational speaker who is the CEO of Ovation International, Dele Momodu. He's one of the 15 aspirants cleared by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to contest its presidential primaries later in the month. Momodu will be joining us on the show for discussion on the 2023 presidential race and other burning national issues. Babajide, yes, the PDP, they finished their nomination and they've screened the aspirants and they've given a kind of go-ahead to 15 aspirants to contest the 28th of May presidential primaries that will be holding in Abuja.
Yeah, the die is cast and the candidates are ready. They've gone through a lot, going around the country, spent so much money. Sometimes they cover 3 states in one day, using private jets to move around. So they are ready. They are ready now to go into that straight contest. As we all know, the PDP has decided not to zone the presidency to any zone. The APC too will do the same thing. So they are set. The die is cast, and we are looking forward to a titanic contest for the ticket, the presidential ticket of the most dominant opposition party in our country.
Talking about their own peculiarity, their situation is not as complex as what you have with the APC right now. Though the screening committee, they've yet to give us the number of people that will ultimately be given the go-ahead to contest the primaries we come up on the 30th of May. That's the APC now, right now. But from what, at the end of nomination, we had like 25 aspirants.
Yes, except anything unusual happens, the contest will go on. There are many people who are talking about the possibility of consensus. The law makes it extremely difficult in these circumstances for the APC to be able to use consensus to pick their standard bearer. The contest has to happen because if just 2 persons, out of the lot refuse to agree to consensus, then a full-blown contest has to happen. So that's the situation.
Is 1 person.
Yes.
Everybody must agree.
Everybody must agree. So if one of them says, no, I don't agree, you have to do the election. And that is what we expect to see. I think that is what will deepen democracy. That is what will make it clear to the ordinary party member that it is who they want that has emerged. That is when you allow for the contest between those people. It's not enough for people, 2 or 3 persons in the party to choose someone for everyone. It's not democracy. It's not democracy. People deceive themselves that consensus is democracy. It's not democracy. Most of the time, what you see is just some powerful people lording it over others, forcing others to accept their own choice.
Painfully.
Yes. And we saw people weeping like babies on the podium at Eagle Square. We are adults. Adults, some of them with wives at home and kids, will weep like a baby denied of his candy. You know that it is not a good thing. It's not something to be happy about. It's not democracy. Force them to not just withdraw from the race, but to mount the podium and announce withdrawal that does not come from their heart. It's like drilling a dagger through the hearts of men. I mean, it's extremely painful. After months of campaign, years of campaign, A few power people within the party would then say, okay, this is who we want. Go and step down. No one can convince me that that's democracy. It revolts against my education, the education that I passed through, to be convinced that a decision made by just 3 persons, forced down the throat of everyone, is democracy. No, it's not.
Even Mr. President can say, this is who I want, because Mr. President went through a contest, a very long-drawn battle in 2014.
Well, he can say this is who he wants. You understand?
Must be
what we want to see is the same kind of contest that he passed through. He can harbor a desire in his heart for someone to win.
That's fair enough. Your machinery to keep behind that person.
If you are interested in the candidate, you are the president, encourage your supporters, encourage people close to you to work for the person. But don't force an aspirant on the party, because nobody forced you on the party. They allowed the process to go on. Some of your own friends even said, no, we are not stepping down. They left them alone, and they were taught a lesson via the ballot box. And you emerged with an audacious margin. And everyone accepted that, yes, the super tanker is the winner. But if you now use the instrumentality of office and everything, you use it to impose someone on the party, then that's not democracy.
Okay, I have the presidential aspirant for the People's Democratic Party joining us. That's Chief Dele Momodu, or is Basharon Dele Momodu. Thank you for joining us, Bob D.
Good evening, my very dear brothers.
Good evening.
Yes, nice to be on your program.
Okay. Now, I want to know, yesterday was your birthday. Let's begin by wishing you happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bob D of life.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks. I wish you many more happy days.
Bob D is a role model in journalism today.
Yes,
he's a reference point.
You made us proud. You are not just a distinguished journalist who made his mark back in those days at Concord, you know, the weekend paper. But you've also shown that you can actually make a success out of journalism entrepreneurship. That's what you've done. You are a model to us. One day we can start our own glossy magazine, like Ovation, and be successful at it.
Going through his CV, Bob, do you read Yoruba from University of Ife?
Yes, but we know that when you are a wordsmith in your own right, you write
I don't miss
English.
the pendulum for anything. Every week. I don't miss that weekly column.
Wow.
So thank you for what you've done for our profession.
For anything. And
we are here today to to fire questions at you. A journalist's duty is to ask questions, but we are putting you on the spot today to receive questions from us, and I'm sure you are up for it. Okay,
let's begin with the 2023 presidency. Why are you running? In 2015, I saw that video. You assisted President Momodu Buhari, even reading the pendulum, the way you galvanized support for Momodu Buhari, and you even went to the villa to visit Momodu Buhari in 2015, saying that, look, this is the person we've worked for. At what point in time did you opt out? Did you stop believing in that government, and you now joined the opposition, and you now want to be the president?
Well, let me say that I had contested in 2011 on the platform of the National Conscience Party. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
I'm not hearing anything again.
Yes, we can hear you, Bob D.
Seems we lost contact. Okay, can you hear me?
Keep speaking, Bob D. Keep speaking.
We are with you.
Okay. It's also echoing.
Okay.
But we can hear you clearly. Just get on with it.
Okay, fantastic. Now, I contested in 2011 because I was tired of complaining and doing nothing about it. Most Nigerians love to complain about Nigeria. Wherever 2 or 3 Nigerians are gathered, they must talk about Nigeria. We love our country so much that we keep complaining, but we do nothing. So, of course, I lost the election because I was on a very small platform. For a presidential election, I realized that you need a big platform, you need structures, and as of today, there are only 2 of them, APC and PDP, that can offer you such platforms. So after losing, I went back home, I went back to my work, I resumed at Ovation International. Then in 2014, I realized that PDP was fumbling so much, and a lot of people got fed up with PDP under President Goodluck Jonathan. The option we had was Buhari from APC. So I joined the clamor for Buhari, not because I felt Buhari was a perfect man, but we felt that in the days of tribulations, you run to the elders of the house. We needed a Mandela option, someone with that kind of figure who can stand up and help whip us back into line. Unfortunately, after Buhari won the election, I started noticing that things were not what we thought would happen. So I started writing to him, and I was writing to him, writing memos in my column on the back page of This Day every Saturday. And on one occasion, he invited me because he got worried that if one of his biggest supporters is already frustrated, something must be wrong. And I went to see him. And both of us sat in his office, just 2 of us, nobody else except maybe God in our presence. And I told him a piece of my mind. I gave him a compilation of everything I'd written about President Jonathan, and I told him I was going to do the same for his government. But after that encounter, of course, he fell ill, he had to travel abroad, you know. That's after it took him about 6 months to assemble a cabinet. And when I looked at the cabinet, it was such a rickety affair. I expected a star-studded cabinet. Nigeria is blessed with some of the greatest, some of the brightest people on earth. But what we kept seeing was a recycling of some of those people who had messed up Nigeria. So to cut a long story short, at some point, I realized that the case of APC was irredeemable, so I opted out. I was not a member of APC when I was campaigning for Buhari. I've always campaigned for good governance, good people. I have this book here by Baba Konde. You can see this book. If you go on page 259 on the book, you will see where he wrote, while Dele Momodu, a renowned journalist, was aiding Damola Aderemi to pressurize me for the deputy governorship slot, I must confess, in the secret of my mind, I was always impressed by Dele Momodu's decorum and preferred to nominate Damola Aderemi his friend. I personally admired Prince Damola Aderemi. He was a brilliant law teacher and a grandson of Oba Adesoji Aderemi, the late Oni of Ife. Damola was also married to one of Chief Obafemi Awólọ́wọ̀'s granddaughters. Unfortunately, Damola was not used to Ife politics and could not secure any support from the then leadership of AD in Ife division. What I'm trying to say is that I've always supported good people, well-educated people. And so when it came to presidential in 1999, I supported Chief Olufalaye because I believe that, one, a sound economist, a banker, and a distinguished statesman. I was the one who suggested to him that he should pick a cerebral vice president, and he asked me who, and I told him Dr. Rilwan Lukman, who at that time was at OPEC in Vienna. And I traveled to OPEC to try and persuade Dr. Rilwan Lukman to come back home and be a running mate to Chief Olufalaye. In fact, last week, Chief Olufalaye confirmed this when we met in Akure. What am I trying to say? Is that I've always believed that Nigeria has the required leadership qualities. We're not short of it. But unfortunately, somehow, the dregs of our society always meander and navigate their ways to power. That is what led me in 2011 to say, enough of looking for angels. If I think I'm an angel sent to liberate Nigeria, then I should stop looking for other angels. I should present myself. So today I'm back. In 2019, I supported Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I was not a member of PDP at the time. It was this same search. He lost. So looking at the caliber of those who have come out now to say they want to run, I felt that one, APC has disappointed Nigeria so badly that their case is irredeemable. And so what is the option we have? PDP.
Okay,
PDP,
let's talk about that PDP. You joined
the party.
Let's talk about that PDP now. You joined the PDP, the 2023 presidential race on the platform of the opposition party, PDP. Yes. How will you rate your chances of clinching the tickets? You are running against the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Olushola Saraki, former Senate President, Peter Obi, and some other bigwigs.
Without sounding immodest, I feel disturbed when people use such words, bandy such words, the bigwigs. What makes them the bigwigs? The fact that they had access to our commonwealth, or the fact that they performed? I remember President Obasanjo saying once that in the military, they have a policy whereby you don't reinforce failure. If someone has failed, you cannot promote someone who has failed to the next class. Nigeria is the only place where I keep hearing journalists say the big wigs. Look, today, I am a global citizen. Today, there is no Nigerian, whether former vice president, former Senate president, who is more known than a Dele Momodu brand. Most of them have never managed people or resources successfully, and you can challenge me on that. If you look at all the people you call the big wigs in Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was a customs officer. Olubukola Saraki was a banker.
Not so sure.
Peter Obi did some banking and some trading. Who else is the big person? In fact, a lot of them, you might not even know what they did before they became governor. But there is nobody today in Nigeria, in Africa, and the world who will not know who Dele Momodu is, what he has done, how he has turned a business from 20,000 pounds take-off grant to a multi-million-dollar empire. We started Ovation in 1996. Today we're standing 26 years after, and we are growing in leaps and bounds. But here you are talking about big wigs who are nothing but local champions. A lot of the people you mentioned are just local champions, known within their community. What Nigeria needs today is what is happening already in other parts of the world. Ukraine, a small Ukraine, is fighting Russia today. They have a president who was a comedian. Comedy is a serious, for you to attain the peak of your career, there must be something you are doing that is great.
And what we are asking you is very simple. We are just asking you that
37.
These people you asked not to call big wigs, can you defeat them in a free and fair contest? Talking about the indirect primaries on the 28th of primaries, do you have the capacity to defeat these people?
Please, with all due respect, if I could not defeat them, I will not be in the race. Who are the people you are mentioning? All you are saying is that because people have money, because people can buy up delegates. In 2011, I encountered two people who had more money than me in NCP. The night before our primary, I was told people were going from room to room. I don't know what they were doing there. But you know what I did? I sent 2 copies of Ovation to their rooms, just like this. This is what I do for a living. And that's all I sent to the delegates. Whether they collected money from the others or not, I have no idea. So when these people came to vote, the reason that Dele Momodu is the most qualified, even if the other people have more money than him, and they voted for me. Next week, I will be appealing to the conscience of the delegates. I've reached out to as many as I can afford, because I'm the only one who is not going to pay a kobo to a delegate. I hear people are buying up all the dollars in Nigeria right now, and that's why the dollar is going up. That's their business. I want to serve Nigeria. I'm not going to encourage corruption. So if you are saying somebody is going to defeat me because he's going to spend Nigeria's money on Nigerians, I've told the delegates, collect the money, but vote against them. Nigeria will never change until we change our mindset of promoting profligacy. You said at the beginning of this program that people are flying private jets up and down. I've not flown any private jet up and down, yet I've covered every region in Nigeria. Yet I've reached out and tried to solve the problems of Nigeria even before becoming the president of Nigeria. In Kaduna, you see people going to discuss with delegates. What are they discussing? They are not even talking about issues. They are talking about how they can grab the delegates, put them in an hotel room, bribe them, corrupt them, while the problems of Nigeria linger. Today, how many of our people are talking about a lady called Debra? I left Sokoto. A few days after I left Sokoto, that girl was killed, and yet everybody went mute. I came out boldly, I condemned it, and you can see that even the Islamic world has condemned it. Yet a lot of our so-called bigwigs are too timid to talk about the problems of Nigeria. I went to Kaduna to see Sheikh Gumi to interact with him and find out what exactly is the root cause of this insecurity. I went to Maiduguri. They told me the marketplace is a no-go area because you can be bombed. It's a lie. I came down from my car. I walked around the place. I interacted with the people. In the Southwest, we have the problems of people agitating that they are tired of the problems of Nigeria and they want to leave. And this agitation was led by a gentleman, Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. I traveled to Cotonou to go and see him. Our leaders are not bothered. They are worrying about how they are going to buy up delegates. Is that the type of leadership you want to put on our country next year? That is not the kind of person I am. So, next week, I believe God will perform a miracle as always. Nigerians will wake up and realize that all the dollars have evaporated. The big wigs are going to eliminate themselves. We know who the big wigs are. But the question, please, my very dear brothers, is how do you continue to reinforce failure? There is none of these big wigs who has not been in power for minimum 20 to 30 years. They have been in politics. They have been in power. If they perform, will Nigeria be in this mess today? It gets me angry whenever I hear big wigs. Big wigs of what? Big wigs of failure. No. Someone must stand up to them. Someone must challenge them. And that's exactly what I am doing.
Fair enough,
and
yes.
I'm happy to be on your platform to be able to tell the delegates, because I know this is a very popular program. And we will continue to talk till next week. and appeal to the conscience of our delegates that don't let anybody bully. Use your money, take it. Take it. But vote for the future of your children. Vote for the future of Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. You are quite determined to achieve your aim, and we wish you well. Let's talk about zoning. Let's talk about zoning. Your party has decided to kick zoning into touch, as a football commentator say. The APC doesn't appear to be enthusiastic. At least the APC leadership doesn't appear to be enthusiastic about zoning too. Why do you think these two dominant parties are behaving in this manner? Why is it that they don't want zoning of the presidency? In any case, do you even support zoning?
The truth of the matter is that I'm one of the few people who said from the beginning that zoning was dead. I knew they were playing games, both parties. There are too many big people in the north and in the south whose vested interests must always override the Nigerian interest. When it favors them, they talk zoning. When it doesn't, they say, oh, it doesn't matter. Let the best candidate win. Personally, if it is zoning, I'm ready for it. If it is not, but already anyway, they've thrown it open. So I knew the moment they sold forms to all of us that you cannot put the cart before the horse. So I was ready. Now they are talking consensus again, and I'm happy that you all agree that it is not democratic. I couldn't have paid 40 million for someone to call me later and say, Dele, you cannot contest because one big man from planet Mars must contest. Zoning was good for Nigeria, just like, when you talk about federal character, so that it could give people a sense of belonging. But for me, while I would want it to come to the South, it cannot be about just any Southerner. This is where I differ from a lot of people who talk about zoning. It cannot be always about, where you come from. I know all the presidents who have governed Nigeria. How did they affect the lives of their people? I have friends, a lot of my Igbo friends. I'm one of the closest people to the Igbo nation. I've always described them as a combination of the Japanese, the Chinese, the Korean, the Indian in terms of intellect. But the question I ask a lot of these, my friends, is that when you talk about marginalization, when you talk about restructuring, some of your politicians have always dominated the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps. You can look at them, Evans Ewarem, Nnamani, Adolphus Wabara, and the rest of them. Even Payosanyim, who is in the race with us now. Tuba Okadigbo, Ekere Madu, as Deputy Senate President, and Emeka Hedioa, my good friend, as Deputy Speaker in the House of Reps. What were they able to do? So it's not enough to say you want it to be zoned to a particular place. My advice, especially to those of us from the South, we must learn how to work together. We must work together. We must work together. In the North, look at the North. North Central, Northwest, Northeast, they move together. It does not matter. I always like to give the example of my good friend and brother, Bukola Saraki. He's from Ilorin. He's from North Central. Bukola Saraki is a Yoruba name, as far as I know. His father was Olushola. His wife is Oluwatoyin. He has his son, Oluwasheni, and so on and so forth. But the North will never say, because he bears Yoruba names, is no longer a part of the geographical entity called the North. But in the South, you will hear my Igbo friends say it's the turn of Igbo. You will hear Ijo people say it's the turn of Ijo. We don't hear such things as Southerners. That is one lesson we need to learn very quickly, because election is a game of mathematics.
That brings us to this question, that there's this notion that only a northern presidential candidate can unseat the ruling APC. Do you agree?
I totally disagree. You need to please go on Google as soon as possible and search Dele Momodu in search of mathematicians. It's an article I wrote in 2014 where I analyzed how Buhari was going to win, even at a time when even the Buhari fanatic did not believe he could win election. It's a game of maths. In 1979, and Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the Owele of Onitsha, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, worked together. There is no way Shagari would have been president. Same thing in 1983. Excuse me. Today, the most popular northerner since the time of Sardauna and Tafawa Balewa is a gentleman called President Muhammadu Buhari. Yet, he lost 3 elections. Twice to Southerners. He lost to General Obasanjo and he lost to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. 3 times he lost. Why did he lose? Because he could not cross. He could not cross to the south, especially the southwest and the south-south. I am telling you, PDP should not allow itself to be bullied by anybody. There is no northerner today, not Atiku, not Bala Mohammed, not anybody who can be as popular as Buhari was between 2003 and 2015. So if Buhari could not win then, so why are you now saying that only a northerner? The reason why the South don't bother to vote, it's obvious. If you don't present a good candidate, they will just sit down at home. If your message does not resonate with them, they will sit down at home. But the moment on that ticket, you are able to get someone either from the southwest, from the south-south, or the southeast to combine with a good candidate from the northwest, from the northeast, and the north central, you will coast home to victory. So it's not true to say that only a northerner can win. Look, if we present any weak candidate from the north, we cannot win. Oh. Today, our best chances is to reflect the mood of the nation. The mood of the nation is that after Buhari's 8 years, 1, a southerner should take over. 2, a younger person should take over. 3, a man with fresh ideas and ideals should come to power. But if we decide to recycle as always, trust me, the results may be fatal. And I pray not.
Let me take you back a little bit. You once contested, you were once in the Labour Party, and then now the PDP. Why did you choose the PDP, and how do you fancy the PDP's chances against the ruling party?
The PDP is actually the largest political party in Nigeria, if not the whole of Africa. That's number 1. Number 2 is that when I was in Labour Party, it was based on ideology. I'd thought that it would be possible for me to galvanize the workers of Nigeria into one big political party. And I tried. I linked up with the British Labour Party. They were ready to assist us and link us up to the international socialist movement. But unfortunately, the Labour Party in Nigeria is actually as conservative as any other party. And that is why, at the end of the day, they told me they were not even interested in presidential election. So I had to leave, and I looked at a party that was similar in ideology to the Labour Party, and I joined the National Conscience Party. Now, I've already explained that the PDP, you need structures to win elections. In America, you can be an independent candidate. Ross Perot tried it, he failed. So, what did Donald Trump do? He learned a lesson from the failure of Ross Perot, and that is why he had to go into the Republican Party. It's the same thing I've done here. I've learned a lesson from the fact that if I go back to a small party, I will end up a small fish in a big pond. That is as simple as that. So the PDP today needs to do what no one expects it to do. When you are playing Brazil in a game of football, you cannot play Brazilian style. What PDP needs to do is to play a game that will razzle-dazzle the APC, that will mesmerize APC, that will hypnotize APC, and render whatever plans they have useless. If you look at Edo State, where I come from, I'm one of the most formidable aspirants today who combines two zones instantly. I'm from Edo State in South-South, and I'm from Osun State in the Southwest. So what we need to do is to show APC that we offer a new hope to Nigeria. Everybody believes, oh, nobody can, it's a lie. Nigerian youths must be galvanized, even in America, for an opposition to defeat a sitting government. You must galvanize first-time voters. You must go out there, get the women out. There is nobody who can do that today better than Dele Momodu, who has been a global brand, who is known by everybody, who has access to every major stakeholder in the whole of Nigeria. Go and check it. Whether it's the masses, I am there. On my phone, right here, I have an application. This application has 66,000 Nigerians from every part of, if you mention your village today, okay, I will tell you, I will give you names from there of people who have applied for palliatives, something that even government could not do. I've done it already. We've given them, last year we disbursed about 23,750,000 last year. And we have everything documented.
Bob,
if you are talking about entertainment, you will know that I have invested heavily in it. But if we are relying only on politicians to vote for us, no, the figures will not add up.
Okay, now look at...
We must go out and get those young people.
The biggest challenge we have as a country right now is insecurity. How do you intend to tackle the security challenges across the country if elected?
Again, I already spoke about insecurity in a way. I said I went to see Sheikh Gumi. Insecurity in Nigeria can be divided into segments. One is terrorism. Two is banditry. Three is Yahoo Yahoo. It's a form of insecurity. You see, when people are jobless, idle hands, they must find something to do. So the first thing I will do is to use what God has done for me. I think we're having a problem with the lights, but you guys
continue,
are trying to fix it. So what we need to do is to use Dele Momodu as a child of diversity. My father, as I said, came from Edo, my mother from Osun. And I've been able to blend, and I have friends in every part of Nigeria. You must give hope to the people. You must restore hope. You must treat Nigerians as equal partners in this union. What Buhari has done and why Buhari is in this kind of problem is because some Nigerians seem to be more important to him than the others. I have friends everywhere. When I went to Maiduguri, I slept in Alhaji Kashim Ibrahim's house. How? We've been friends of over 20 years. He's APC. He left his bedroom.
What would you do differently
When I
to
went
defeat
to Iloni,
insecurity? That's the question. What would you do differently to defeat insecurity?
that's what I'm telling you. You cannot defeat if you don't have faith in Nigeria. You must treat people equally. That's number one. Number two, that's what they call crime and punishment. Today, the kind of body language that I see is such that those who perpetrate this madness in Nigeria feel they have people who can protect them. Trust me, I read somewhere a few days ago that General Sani Abacha, when this kind of thing that happened in Sokoto happened, he didn't say because he's a Muslim, he didn't say because he's from Kano and things like that. He went after them. Every time, all we hear from this government is we shall deal with them. I have asked the security forces, I have asked, nothing happens. You see, the body language of the leader matters. So that, I can tell you, I will do different. Number two, we must invest in intelligence. Anywhere in the world, there is nobody who relies only on guns and ammunition. Your spies must be well trained, must be well equipped, and you must give them incentives. Our soldiers are amongst the best. I can tell you that Dele Momodu is probably the only person in the last 20 years who has been interacting with soldiers, even our own soldiers, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone. I used to go there to go and give them incentives, buy recharge cards for some people to be able to, phone their families. In Liberia, Nigerian soldiers controlled 10 out of 15 counties. They have 15 counties in Liberia. I saw it firsthand. How come today we are not able to control Sambisa Forest? Something is wrong with the leadership. So once you have a leader who knows his onions, once you have a leader who is bold and courageous, once you have a leader who is ready to do everything within his capacity as the commander-in-chief, it will drive those people out of this country. That is what we need to do. So it is not as if, in Ghana is not too far from Nigeria. In 6 hours, you can drive from here to Ghana. How come they are not doing the same nonsense in Ghana? It's because the leadership will not tolerate it. The day you have a leader who will show love to every Nigerian and who will punish any Nigerian who misbehaves, whether the person is a member of his family or a member of his clan, you will see that all these things will evaporate.
Some have actually questioned why you decided to relocate your business to Ghana instead of staying here in Nigeria and enduring the pain that the masses of our country face. What have you got to say to such people who criticize you for refusing to stay here and salvage Nigeria with us instead of relocating to Ghana?
I always say it. One of my favorite authors is a man called Thomas Paine. And one of my favorite books is one of his seminal works called The Age of Reason. I believe we live today in the age of ignorance. I've never relocated my business out of Nigeria. I have expanded my business to over 60 countries. So I wonder if those who say those things expect that ovation should begin and end in Nigeria. I opened an office for our French operations in Cotonou in 2006. That is why in that country, the Udegbe North American University gave me a doctorate, honoris causa. In Ghana, I expanded to Ghana. In the same country in 2016, the University of Professional Studies gave me a doctorate for expanding my business and promoting the best interest of Nigeria in Ghana. It is impossible for anybody to do my kind of magazine and take it away from a country where 80% of your business is located. Nigerians are the most flamboyant people in Africa. So how reasonable will it be for you to now come from a place where people party every day, where I can get pictures every day of parties and events? It is not true, my dear brother. All I did was to expand my business to other parts of the world, and that's legitimate. We even published Ovation America. Okay? We published Ovation in French. I mean, Coca-Cola is everywhere in the world. So would you say because you drink Coca-Cola in Nigeria, so it's no longer in Atlanta? I can't understand the level of ignorance that people, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. The vendors in Nigeria, all the young boys that you see on the street, out of 2,000 naira cover price, we pay them 1,000, which means on a day, if you sell 5 copies of Ovation, then you can make 5,000 naira. We have done so much. Every year, we produce an average of about 5 millionaires, entrepreneurs, who make presentations to us. And they are all Nigerians. They are not Ghanaians. They are all Nigerians. Every year we do it. We do Ovation Carol every December since 2007 to discover talents. There is no major artist today in Nigeria who has not performed on that platform.
Okay,
so
but
how can you say we relocated to Ghana and then we're doing that in Nigeria? No.
You're a successful journalist, no doubt. Why switch from journalism to politics? How do you describe that transition?
Everywhere in the world, you use your personal accomplishments to help your nation. Nigeria is the only place where we expect the dregs of society to be the ones in politics. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was a successful customs officer. He switched over to politics. Chief MKO Abiola was one of the wealthiest people of his time. He switched from his career as a chartered accountant and a businessman to becoming a politician. Donald Trump was a real estate guru. He switched from it to politics. So what is wrong with a journalist? In fact, all our founding fathers, most of them, had journalism background. Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Ladoke Akintola, all of them. Even in Ghana, the Osaji Efo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he had journalism background. Journalists are the conscience of the nation. It is like a goalkeeper playing penalty. He is the one who understands the angles that the ball can take to enter the net. It's the same thing. Journalists know the problems of the nation. We are modest people. You said it that people are flying up and down in private jets. If I want to do the same, I can also go and lobby and get money. But we need serious, focused leaders in Nigeria who will not waste the resources of Nigeria on the personal lifestyle of a politician. So that's why I'm in it. I've switched into it because we talk so much, we write so much, but we do little about the problems of Nigeria.
Thank you, Bob D, for your time. Thank you for such an enriching engagement with you today. And we wish you Godspeed.
Yeah. We wish you the best of luck ahead of next week presidential primaries by the People's Democratic Party on the 28th. So people will come together and they will choose a candidate for your party.
And who knows, it could be you.
If you are going to be the candidate, we'll be here to celebrate with you. Best of luck,
By the grace of God, I'll be happy to come back.
Thank you. Dele Momodu.
Yes.
Dele Momodu.
Vintage.
Yes.
Dele Momodu. As a journalist, he could write on virtually everything.
Yep.
As an editor, he was an editor. I mean, he was a reporter's delight. So he's done well for himself. We were in school.
He introduced that cocktail journalism into, that was the first time I saw the man called the late Chief Dende Fernandez when he did one big expose about his yacht in the New York City. He had his own island and everything. People. They called the yacht Iemoja at that time. So
He likes
the glamour,
celebrating
the
people.
glitz and everything of journalism.
He likes celebrating people, splashing the wealth of people on the glossy pages of Ovation, and he's someone who can also
I think
stand
he's the
his
first
own.
to introduce that.
Yeah, he's done so very well. He can stand his own in terms of his intellect, in terms of overall knowledge. He can stand his own against anyone, and he's one example of a journalist, a reading journalist.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that a lot of journalists don't bother to read, so they fail to reach their knowledge. But Dele Momodu is a living example of a good journalist with all-round knowledge, and we wish him best of luck.
Well, thank you, Bob D. Thank you, Bashir Dele Momodu, for the presidential aspirant from the People's Democratic Party, for being our guest today. And Vicky, as usual, thank you for always being there.
Yes, and there are still some of them on the way.
Yeah.
This is the electoral season, and we really cannot, we can't shy away from giving the journalists, the politicians, a chance to speak on our
we'll
platform.
have them throughout till the day of that. They will be having their primaries, and tomorrow we want to tell our viewers to watch out for the majority leader of the House of Representatives,
Hassan
Adodogwa, will be joining us live.
That's another first-class journalist who has gone into...
Really?
Yes, he's a first-class graduate of mass communication. So we are going to see tomorrow a man who speaks eloquently and who has good knowledge of politics, especially in his native...
Yes, he will tell us what is happening in Kano. He will tell us what is happening in APC.
This is the best time to hear that, what's going on in Kano. And a strong supporter of the governor of Kano State,
Ganduje.
So keep a date with us tomorrow.
Okay, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, and join us every Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Zubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.